Just want to say thank you to everybody who left a question in the video where we unboxed this play button. Now it's time to answer those questions. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. First question is from Sandworm GG. What got you into guitar? So I got an electric guitar when I was around 12 and I didn't really know what to do with it. But then I heard Black Sabbath. I got the Paranoid album. And after hearing that, I was like, that's what I want to play. Birdschley asks, what's your favorite bird species? Great question. That is a tough one. I'm going to have to go with the harpy eagle. Next question is from WanYKBWS. Looks like we've really got 3 questions here. How old are you and when is your birthday? I'm 32. My birthday is April 11th. What is your favorite TV series? The 1997 version of Berserk. Who's your favorite YouTuber? That's a tough one for sure, but I'll give you 2. Flashgits, they make great animations, and Carl Brown from Guitar Lessons 365, one of the goats of guitar YouTube. Jason Landon asks, what is the hardest song that you've learned on guitar? That's another tough one. Probably, I'm going to go with Pierced From Within by Suffocation. Definitely have to warm up if I'm going to play that one. Jackson Grist asks, what drives you to take the time to teach things to others you've never met before? I just really like the music. A lot of these songs I really love, and I like being able to share them with you guys. And hopefully getting a lot of people into playing the music that I really love. The Pick Jupiter Studios asks, out of all the riffs you've covered on the channel, which is your favorite and why? I'm going to go with E1M1 from Doom. Fun, pretty simple riff to play, but it's also one that really helped my channel kind of blow up. That was my first video that got like millions of views across a bunch of platforms and really helped me grow the channel. Armed Appalachian asks, what was your first concert? If it wasn't a metal band, what was your first metal concert? I think it was a long time ago, but I'm pretty sure that my first concert was a Led Zeppelin cover band called Get the Lead Out. And I'm pretty sure my first metal concert was Metallica. I saw them for the first time on their Death Magnetic tour. The Punisher asks, what was the first song you ever learned? It was Iron Man by Black Sabbath. Elmo MP asks, how long have you been playing guitar and do you prefer playing lead or rhythm guitar? I have been playing for about 20 years and I prefer rhythm guitar, but I've been working a lot lately on getting more into lead guitar playing. Doggo Times asks, what was your childhood like and what molded you into the great guy you are today? So first of all, I'm flattered. My childhood, can't complain, have great parents. I have 2 brothers. Had a lot of fun growing up with them. And when I got older into around high school was when I started playing a lot of music, made a lot of friends through that and jammed in a lot of different bands and stuff. So I had a pretty fun time growing up. Whopper15 says, yay. Also, what is your favorite band? That's a tough question. My answer kind of changes a lot, but I'll give you 2, Crowbar and Slayer. Armed Appalachian, I think I already answered one from you, but whatever. If you could instantly learn and play any one guitarist's entire catalog, who are you picking and why? That's a tricky one. I think I'll go with Marty Friedman. He's just such a versatile guitarist and very highly skilled, and I feel like learning all of his stuff would just bring my playing to a completely different level. Gunkiller2365 asks, what's your favorite guitar/guitar player and who got you into guitar? My favorite guitar is this one right here. Custom Balaguer Tartarus that I got built for me in around 2023, I believe. We'll go with favorite living guitar player right now. Kirk Winstein from Crowbar, the Riff Lord, and definitely got into guitar through Black Sabbath. C3L asks, how long were you on social media for? How long have you been playing guitar? And what was your life before becoming a social media star? I started doing my guitar channel, I believe, at the end of 2023, so about 2.5 years now. I've been playing guitar for about 20 years. And before doing this social media stuff, I was a guitar teacher, and I still am. Nixon and the Boys asks, what's your favorite guitar riff or song to play on guitar? Right now, one of my favorites to play is Cancer of the Soul by Bloodbath. Joel Rivers asks, will you ever do different instruments? I have considered that. I do actually play a few instruments. I was thinking about starting a second channel to do just bass guitar on, so let me know if you guys are interested in that. Real Metallic Steel asks, what do you think about the new Megadeth album? I have listened to it a few times. Overall, I think the riffs are pretty cool, some nice guitar work, but it's not really an album I can see myself going back to often. Like if I want to listen to Megadeth, I'm probably going to go listen to some of their older stuff like Killing Is My Business or Rust in Peace, but definitely some fun songs to play. Drake asks, were there any techniques or parts in songs that you felt you struggled with significantly, or what was your biggest hurdle as a beginner and intermediate guitarist? I think one One of the hardest things for me was learning to read music and learning the notes on the neck. That took me a long time before I really started to grasp all of that kind of stuff. And learning to kind of loosen up the tension in my hands so I could play for longer periods of time without kind of cramping up. Alexi asks, what's your top 5 favorite albums? So we're going to go with Rain in Blood by Slayer, Crowbar's self-titled album, An Overdose of Death by Toxic Holocaust, Cause of Death by Obituary, and Those Once Loyal by Bolt Thrower. Chrono Keys 61 asks, what advice would you give to beginner musicians who want to start producing a project, such as an album, a band, or even posting on social media like YouTube? The main thing I would say is just go for it. Don't get discouraged if you post something and it doesn't get a lot of views or whatever. Just keep making stuff that you love and putting it out there. And if you keep doing that, the algorithm is going to pick it up. It's going to show it to people who actually appreciate what you do. YouTube also has tons of free resources. You can really learn any skill you need to do this kind of stuff. You just got to be dedicated. Pochoi120 asks, how long have you been playing guitar and how long have you been growing your hair? Been playing about 20 years and I haven't got my hair cut probably like 15 years or something. Horror Guitars asks, what death metal band inspired you to play guitar? Well, I didn't really get into death metal until I had already been playing guitar for a while. Some of the death metal bands I got into first were like Death, Obituary, Entombed. Leg Sun asks, what's your favorite amp? Well, I usually, in most of my videos, I use a Line 6 Helix, which is awesome. I really love that thing. But if you're talking about real amps, it's got to be this PV6505 Plus. Love the way this thing sounds. I don't know how to say this name. Asks, what was your best rock or metal concert you went to? Gotta go with Municipal Waste. I saw them once opening for Anthrax, and they put on one of the craziest shows I've ever seen. The entire venue was basically a tornado of people. It's either you were in the mosh pit or you were not at the show. Totally insane. Never seen anything like it before. Municipal Waste, if you get a chance to see them, definitely go check them out. Coffin Mania asks, what is your dream guitar? There's one guitar that I really want. Don't know if I'll ever be able to get it because as far as I know, there was only one ever made. Is this Monster Hunter Rathalos Greatsword guitar by ESP. I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan. Really want that guitar. If you have it or you know anybody who has it, tell them to hit me up. Goofy Demand asks, who inspired you the most, not just as a guitarist? Interesting question. But I am going to give you a guitarist. I'm going to go with Tony Iommi, not just because I love his music, but because of everything that kind of happened to him and how he just kept going kind of no matter what. Dio Cujo asks, my question is, should I get a multi-effects pedal or an interface? Which one? If you're going to be recording on a computer, I would recommend getting an interface. Scarlett Focusrite is really nice. And then I would recommend getting Helix Native on your computer. Artyom asks, what's your favorite video game soundtrack and who is your favorite video game music composer? My favorite video game soundtrack is from Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles on the GameCube. Let me know if you guys have ever played that before. Love that game. And that soundtrack is by Kumi Tanioka. Really awesome soundtrack. They use all kinds of like medieval instruments and stuff to make it super sick. Toasty Bagel asks, what is your metal hot take and what is the hardest part for beginners? So my metal hot take is that you don't have to hate other genres of music to be into metal. There's a lot of like weird elitism. Just kind of don't let that bother you. And I think the hardest part for beginners is just getting past the initial hurdle of your little fingers hurting. Once you get through that and you start playing some of your favorite songs, it's going to be smooth sailing from there. You just got to keep dedicated and keep trying to learn new stuff. Van Toem asks, what kind of music do you like to listen to the most? I kind of listen to different music depending on the season or how I'm feeling. Right now where I live, there's a lot of winter weather going on. During the winter, I like to listen to a lot of sludge metal and black metal. And I also listen to a lot of thrash and death metal. Alan Rotenberg asked, what was your first guitar and what would you recommend as a first guitar for metal fans? My first guitar was a Squire Bullet. And for metal fans, if you're looking to get your first electric guitar, I would recommend an S by Solar. They're pretty cheap and they're great for metal. The W Guy 2009 asks, do you have any pets? And can you please drop the tabs for the riff you played when you unboxed the dinosaur guitar? I don't currently have any pets. When I was growing up and living with my parents as a kid, I had a lot of pets, a lot of dogs and cats and guinea pig. But right now I live alone and I don't have any pets. I play a lot of, when I'm doing the unboxing videos and stuff, I play a lot of riffs for songs that I'm personally writing. And when I get all that stuff together and eventually put out an album or whatever, I'll put out some tabs for that. Belchin Grizzly asks, what were your major guitar/fiddle influences? I'll give you some of my favorite guitarists. Tony Iommi, Jeff Hanneman, Kirk Winstein, Dimebag Darrell, James Hetfield. Max W9942 asks, what's your favorite Crowbar album? It's gotta be their self-titled, closely followed by Obedience Through Suffering. Snipe King asks, good guitar and bad amp, or bad guitar, good amp? I would go with a bad guitar and a good amp, because you can kind of fix a bad guitar and make it at least feel pretty good to play. If you have a crappy amp, it's probably never really going to sound good. 6-Ring Champ 95 asks, do you play Super Smash Bros? Yes. I haven't played it in a little while, but in Smash Ultimate, I play Bowser. The Two-Handed Bowler asks, for a beginner guitarist, is it smart to buy an expensive guitar or a cheap starter guitar? I think that depends on your personal financial situation. If you have the money to drop on a nice guitar, go for it. But I think the most important thing is just getting a guitar that you vibe with, one that you really want to keep picking up and playing every day. Tavo Ahumada, sorry if I butchered that, asks, what other hobbies and interests do you have? I really like Warhammer, card games. Guitar was a hobby until I kind of turned it into a career. Ches Rem asks, could you give us a room tour? The rest of the room that you don't see is kind of a mess, so maybe at some point. 666 asks, if you could play guitar in one band, what band would it be? Probably Crowbar. Chug Radocaster asks, my question would be, what is your favorite tuning to play in when you're creating original riffs? Right now, this is tuned to D standard tuning, and that's what I've been playing in a lot. Zebulon Randall asks, favorite black metal group? Probably going to get a lot of people mad at me for this, but I really like Burzum. Separate the artist from the art. Philosophem is an incredible album. Mike Smith asks what I did for a living before my platform grew. I taught guitar, private guitar lessons, and I still do that. Jack's Son So Real asks, do you have your own rock band with friends or family? At the moment, I'm not playing in a band. But I am working on kind of a solo project. Dogfire asks, what other genres do you listen to? Like, besides metal, some old rap like Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, Eazy-E, and some country stuff like Hank Williams III, Those Poor Bastards, Johnny Cash. Nala Bali asks, I'm gonna go ahead and guess you can play the entirety of Master of Puppets. I know how to play Master of Puppets. I learned it a long time ago, back when I was in high school. Probably took me a couple years before I was able to get all those riffs down. Guitarded asks, have you ever played bass before or ever considered it? Yes, I do play bass. I teach a lot of bass lessons as well, and I have been thinking about doing a bass channel, so let me know if you guys want me to do that. Ryder La Barbera asks, who would win in a fight to the death, the Metallica crew or the Megadeth crew, all in their prime? If we're counting the entirety of Metallica's lineup versus the entirety of Megadeth's lineup, definitely going to be Megadeth, and it's not going to be close. That's because Metallica has had like 7 or 8 members. Megadeth has had like 35. So I think the 35 dudes in Megadeth is going to be a pretty clean sweep. Don Chington asks, can you do a video of your guitar collection? I get that question a lot, and I will do it at some point. I just have a lot of guitars, got to get them all together and ready for the video, but we will get it done. Ricardo MC asks, what would you say has been your most influential band or album on your guitar career? Probably has to be Paranoid by Black Sabbath. That was the first album I ever got, and it really got me into music and playing guitar in general. Scooby Snacks asks, I'm currently playing around with my half-brother's guitar, and I have the first power chord down for Smells Like Teen Spirit. I'm learning how to play guitar, and you're a great teacher. Thank you. I'm planning on picking up a guitar of my own because I want to make music one day. Anything I should learn or know going forward? Important thing is just to keep playing, try to learn as much as you can. I think music theory is really important. Start learning the notes on your neck and your scales. It's going to help you. You're going to go a long way. McRide asks, are you ever going to release a full Acid Bath Tab video for some of their songs? Sure, just let me know what songs you guys want me to do videos on. Gunveer Sharma asks, favorite grunge band? Alice in Chains. Furcan for Life asks, what's your top 3 metal genres? Thrash metal, sludge metal, death metal. Red Collects 6119 says, I have never been in a video and it's very unlikely I'll be in this one, but how long does it take you to make these videos? It depends a lot. The short videos, sometimes I can knock them out in about an hour. It does take a little bit of time to film and set everything up and then the editing. And if I do a longer video like this one, it can take a few hours, sometimes a whole day. Jedi Gaming asks, why did you decide to grow your hair out? I just didn't want to go get it cut. Your local James Hetfield fangirl asks, what are your thoughts on American metalcore band Attack Attack? I don't know. I don't really listen to much metalcore. Cradle of Filth Forever asks, what is your favorite guitar brand? Gallagher Guitars. Garlic Frog Gaming asks, what are some of the best things to practice daily for beginners to get better at guitar? Try practicing some easy songs that you like. It's going to be more fun and more motivating to keep practicing if you're playing stuff you enjoy. And I would start grinding away on your scales. Just get used to playing all over the neck. Fisher Shaw asks, do you like Flying V or Explorer? Flying V. DManXX2000 asks, what is your favorite guitar or body shape? I'm a big fan of the X or the Xiphos shape. I think those are by far the coolest guitar shapes. AJ Farrar asks, where did you get your guitar that you don't have to plug into an amp? That is an Enya guitar sent to me by Enya for a sponsorship deal. So you can get them from Enya Guitars if you're interested. JZ The Funk asks, where do you get your guitar tabs at? So usually what I do to make my videos is I pull up the song on Songster. I look it over a little bit to see if it looks accurate. And then I'll go to YouTube and start watching some live videos of the bands playing to make sure all those notes are right. I'll play around with it a little bit just to make sure everything is good. And the cool thing about Songster is it has an edit feature. So if something isn't right, I can just quickly change it. And I always try to make sure the tabs are 100% accurate for you guys. Silent Master asks, what motivated you to start this YouTube channel? I was living with one of my friends and he lived in this room here you see in my townhouse. And he moved out and I needed something to do with this room. So I figured why not set it up into a little bit of the studio and have some fun making some guitar YouTube videos. And it worked out pretty well so far. Spice asks black metal or death metal? Death metal. Chino Moreno asks Metallica or Megadeth? I do love both of those bands, but if I had to pick just one, probably going with Metallica. Plessy asks, what is your hair care routine? Pretty simple. I use this bottle of Head and Shoulders and this Pantene conditioner every single day. Simba asks, my question is, how many guitars do you own? I don't know exactly, at least like 20 or something. Eggman asks, what song did you have to do the most research to learn? Probably Hammer Smashed Face by Cannibal Corpse. That was a really tricky one for me to figure out because they play it differently live than on the album, and the tabs are all kinds of different, so it took me a while to figure out exactly what was going on in that one. Logan Nirvana 69 asks, is it possible to shred on a Fender Jaguar? Absolutely. Nuka Boy 26 asks if you have a favorite legendary guitarist. Who is it? Jeff Hanneman from Slayer. Triton asks, what is your favorite wood for guitars and your favorite body shape? I don't really care personally about the body wood on an electric guitar, but for the necks, I really like roasted maple. SadSatan.exe asks, how tall are you and have you considered teaching people guitar lessons? I'm 5'11" and I do teach guitar lessons. Rockstar asks Ozzy or Dio? Ozzy. Vet Shrimp asks, how you progress as a guitarist throughout the years? The main thing is you just got to keep practicing, pick up your guitar every day. Doesn't really matter what you play. As long as you're playing, you want to keep that guitar in your hands, get used to it. When you're starting out, it's going to feel a little awkward, but you want that guitar to start feeling like a third arm. You want it to feel natural. Just play as much as possible. I Cares Mike 2.0 asks, what inspired you to begin posting your content? And do you have any plan you follow that led to your success? So initially, I actually bought a bunch of equipment. I spent a good amount of money getting like a good computer for recording and editing, good microphone, some lighting setup. And my goal was to make enough money on social media content creation to recoup the cost of all that stuff that I bought. That was my initial goal. That helped me stay motivated and just keep posting as much content as you can. Keep doing it every day. Sometimes it can be hard, especially I know a lot of people, myself included, work full time. And what I do is I teach all day. And then I come home and I work on these videos teaching you guys. So sometimes it can be tough to keep up that energy and keep going, but you just got to do it. Got to keep going. Drink those coffees at night and just keep moving. Simpson the Third asks, what do you think is the best guitar ever for alt metal? The best guitar ever is whichever one you think is the coolest that's going to make you want to pick it up and play every day. Hi, Enrique asks, is there ever a day where you would actually play 8 strings, 7 strings, and maybe even a bass for more exposure into songs? Perhaps, maybe at some point, but I really just like playing 6 strings for my own personal music. 7, 8 string guitars, really not really something I'm into. If I want to play low, I just tune my 6 string down as low as I need to go. But we'll see, I might get one just for teaching purposes when we cover bands like Korn and Meshuggah. Tote asks, one thing regarding guitar that you have a hard time with and trying to get better at, and what's your favorite solo? My favorite solo is probably Sails of Charon by Scorpions. This one says, what kind of strings do you use? I use Ernie Ball strings, and the exact gauge just depends on what kind of tuning I'm playing in. Pearl Jam Lover 99 asks, who's better, Slipknot, Pearl Jam, or Tool? For you, Pearl Jam Lover 99, I'll go with Pearl Jam. Trip asks what to do if half of my nut on my guitar is missing. Buy a new nut and replace it. Yaz asks, will you be making long-form content for guitar tutorials? I do. Check out YouTube. TT number 4 asks, do you know how to increase stamina for down picking? Practice playing with a metronome and make sure you're keeping that tension low in your right hand. If you're playing with a lot of tension, you're not going to have any stamina and you're not going to be able to get through those songs. CJ and Green Day 2010 asks, what are some deep cut bands you recommend for beginner metal fans? I'll give you a couple albums. I'll give you a few albums to check out. We're going to go with I Hate Therefore I Am by Cyclone Temple, Colossal Oppressor by 10 Ton Slug, and Corpse Fortress by Ilsa. William Hagen 25 asks, if you were a type of soup, what would you be? I hate soup. Why'd you hide all my food in this wet bowl? EVH asks, do you like Suffocation? I love Suffocation. Gabriel the Bowler asks, do you play those amps behind you? I do. Most of the time I don't play them in my videos because using the Helix is much easier to record. Garza Isaac asks, awesome shirt, where did you get it? Most of my shirts I get either from the merch table at shows or I try to order from the official merch website of whatever band it is. CMoto48 asks, what band is your favorite to cover? If you're talking about videos on here, I'm going to go with Metallica because a lot of their songs are super easy and they get a lot of views. Dennis Skygrass Official asks, if you could only see one band for the rest of your life, which band would it be? That's a tough one. I'm going to go with Bolt Thrower so they get back together. I Love My Kaiser asks, can you join my band? Please, I'll give you gummies. Depends what kind of gummies. The Chosen One asks, what are some of your favorite non-metal bands? I mean, I like a lot of classic rock stuff. The Rolling Stones, Jimi Hendrix Experience, Led Zeppelin, the Beatles, Queen. My dad got me into a lot of that stuff as a kid before I ever picked up a guitar and got into metal. Ivor012 asks, what is your preferred cheese on Tuesdays? That's a tough one. I'm going to go with Pepper Jack. Do you listen to Pantera? I love Pantera. EXLM.S asks, what is your favorite Megadeth riff? I'm going to go with Killing Is My Business. Immortal Bin asks, what's your favorite underrated album? I'm going to go with Blood Eagle by Conan. Best Guitar Player Mike asks, which riff is your favorite and why is it your favorite? My favorite riff is the outro riff to a song called Slave No More by Crowbar. Go check it out. Bray Will FM asks, I want to ask, what do you think makes a true artist? Getting a little existential here, Bray Will FM. I think a true artist is anyone who makes art the way they want to do it and doesn't let anyone else tell them how they should be making their art. Curly Fry J asks, Jackson or Dean? Gonna go with Jackson. Dennis Gunna Wardana asks, favorite non-rock and metal album? We're going to go with Satan Is Watching by Those Poor Bastards. Will Costello asks, do you cringe when a student asks to learn a Nirvana song? No, I don't. I love Nirvana. Always happy to teach Nirvana. Lift for Metal asks, any concerts you will be attending this year? I don't have any tickets yet, but hopefully there's a lot of bands on tour right now that I'd love to go see. Dino Wizard 3 asks, what's your favorite old school death metal band? Probably gonna go with Obituary. Zando Sao asks, what city/town and state do you live in? I live in Maryland. It's Stefan asks, what guitar would you recommend for about $1,000 for intermediates? I would go with the Solar guitar. They make a lot of really great stuff for around that price range. Necro Lust Lover asks, when did you get into metal and what was the best early memory of when you did? I don't remember exactly how old I was. I think maybe in like 6th grade or something. And I got some Black Sabbath and Megadeth and Metallica CDs. And I just remember listening to those in my room late at night and it totally changed my perspective of music, and I definitely wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't listened to those albums. Listening to those now still brings me back to that time, and it's weird how music can do that. Chastom666 asks, how do you put video in the background picture frame? I use CapCut, and you can just cut stuff out and move it around. It's pretty easy. Al Mackles asks, how about playing us some Soylent Green since they are back together? Good idea. Soylent Green is sick. Jeremy Inlay asks, if you could only have one guitar, what would it be? Probably going to keep this one around. Hallie asks, how old were you when you got your first guitar? What was it and who got it for you? So my first guitar was this Squire Bullet right here. My mom got it for me. I think I was 12 years old. Homer says, teach us how to get your Godzilla guitar. They're Japanese only, but all you got to do is go onto eBay or Reverb and pick one up. It's going to be expensive, but that's the way to do it. Sebastian asks, were you in the public at the Back to the Beginning concert last year? Unfortunately, no, I was not. That's a bit far away from me. I wish I could have been there, though. Thank you guys again for all your questions, and I'll see you in the next video.